everyone, my name is Walter Anurantha. I'm from Indonesia and the author of Walter Springland. In this video, I'll explain step number 2, write down your imagination. When you imagine an idea that sounds cool, unique, or significantly creative in your own vision, write it down on your notebook or type it on Microsoft Words with your ideas that fits into your story, whether that idea translates into character development, scene construction, or plot structure, and so on. It's also important to rearrange these types of ideas into chronological orders of when, how, and where your scene takes place before or after this scene, within the timeline of the story so it makes sense. If you're a predictable outliner like me, or an unpredictable pantser yourself. For instance, when I was 12 years old, I thought about the concept of my story that my mother encourages me to write it down on my notebook from what I imagine. So I grab my pencil, open up my notebook, and start writing it down. Fast forward 2 years later, my first book got published since 2019, and I officially became an author of this book right here. But let me tell you, at the beginning, I actually stopped writing after a few short words. I was so shy and insecure, I couldn't even got past the very first page. So I gave up, stood up, leave my notebook alone, and give myself an hour-long break. Not long after, I never gave up trying to write and sit down, after I thought it's impossible to write a book and publish it at the end. But then, something miraculous happened to me that changed my life forever into my own passion I never expectedly dreamed of having at such a young age, as if my writing talent has been naturally gifted by God. During my process, I thought about a wild opening idea to my book, as if I imagined a shark immediately chomping down all the fishes as a main inspiration to my opening prologue, but friendlier. And so I continued to write. My hand kept clenching to my pencil, writing down non-stop. Characters are not being written. The scene and the setting are set in place, and the plot gets more interesting to me and more passionate to me as I was able to fulfill all the pages as I can to see where the story ends. And after a long, time-consuming writing process, I had finally finished my story draft that left me mesmerized in relief. And so I show it to my parents, and unsurprisingly, they are so mind blown and amazed. My writing talent actually astounded them. So astounded, my dad even stated that I'm going to be a future Stanley of all writers in the world if I keep writing more stories into publishing more books for decades to come. I know it's a hyperbolic assumption that may or may not even come true, but at least I'm appreciated what it is of what I just did back then. From what I mentioned so far about this step, by the sound of it, yeah, it will take an overwhelming process to write a book on your own, and especially with agents, which you simply do not have to worry about than you might think. Why? Because just treat the writing process as a fun hobby routine in your schedule, and then you can take breaks after you write a few pages a day as you like, rinse and repeat. No matter how long the writing process goes on for months or likely even a year. Anyways, in the next video, I'll explain step number 3, and I'll see you there. Bye!